78% of people say when they hear the word investing, they get anxiety. And it's not because they're really bad with money or they're bad people, it's they skipped a step. And the step that they skipped was not building a financial floor. See, a financial floor gives you peace. And in this quick video, I'm going to break down what it is, how to accumulate it, what to do after you get it. So let's get straight into it, okay? Now, I believe this is something that everybody can acquire because right now, 1 in 3 Americans can't cover an emergency. Most people will never get 6 to 12 months of expenses, and things are just going up in price. That's what we call inflation. Now, why most people never feel secure, it's really simple. They're living paycheck to paycheck, but it's not a money problem. It's honestly a missing system problem, and it's the number one reason investing feels terrible. Okay, the check comes in, unexpected bills happen, and people panic when an emergency shows up. Can you relate to that? And they feel like they never invest. Now, look, it's not your fault. Nobody's just ever taught you the system, and that changes today as you're watching this. So what is the financial floor that I call it? It's 6 to 12 months of essential living expenses sitting in cash, okay? And it's separate from your daily life. And this exists, okay, to give you that peace of mind, okay? Now, you're not calling it an emergency fund because then an emergency shows up. You're not calling it the rainy day fund because then a hurricane shows up. You're calling it a floor. And what we want to do is we want to invest above the floor. So think of the floor as a house. Nothing gets built, okay? Nothing gets built. Investments included until the floor is solid. You don't put the lights in the house without the proper foundation. It's the same concept. Now, the difference between savings and a financial floor, this is what people get it wrong. A normal savings account, people save for vacation. They save for the holidays. They save to upgrade that new whip. Careful. And then random purchases that kind of come up. But a financial floor is completely separate. It's untouchable. It's not for sale. It's not for fun. And it's refilled immediately if ever used. And I'll give you an example. I've taken some of the money out of my financial floor account because I saw Bitcoin at 4,000. And I saw S&P in 4,000 years ago. Guess what? I took some money out, but I refilled it immediately, okay? Now, the same word savings has two completely different jobs, and confusing them is why these floors don't get built. So let's get into the emergencies that you're eventually going to face if you're a human being watching this video. Is maybe you lose your job. And I don't wish this upon anybody, but this is what happens to people. This is what we call a reality check. Maybe you lose your job. Maybe a medical emergency, God forbid, never happens to you, but maybe it happens to somebody around you. Most people don't have insurance. Maybe it's just that flat tire or an engine. I had a Mercedes a couple years ago that in 1 year, there was $9,500 in engine issues. It's funny how that works. The moment the car warranty ends, something happens, right? Thank God I could afford to pay that, but it's annoying, and most people would have just had no car. A family emergency, a recession, a major home expense, eventually, this will show up in your life. How do you prepare for that? Because look, this is not rare. Most people face 2 to 3 of these every single decade, every single 10 years. And the floor is how you face them without panicking. Now, why do people lose money? It's because it's real simple. Without a floor, even emergencies become a forced sale at the worst possible time. I know somebody that had to sell their entire crypto portfolio for an emergency when Bitcoin was at 16,900 at the bottom, but they needed the cash. Now, the floor doesn't just protect your cash, it protects your investments from ever being touched. Sometimes we get really good entries in the stock market or the crypto market. And you know what happens? Emergency shows up, no floor is built, the floor fund gone, I sell low, market rallies, and I just lost a ton of money. Okay? And it starts with really this psychology of having cash. Have you ever met somebody that says, oh my God, I have a hole burning in my pocket? I never understood that saying, and I still don't understand it today. It's because when people get cash, they feel like they need to spend it. Well, I play this trick on my mind all the time. I'll carry a certain amount of money, majority of the time, in cash. Maybe it's $500, maybe it's $1,000, maybe it's $100, whatever the number is. And I see how long I can not spend it. Now, the credit cards, the Apple Pays, sure. But how long can I not spend that cash? And it's just really a mindset game that I personally play. Let me know down below if you play that game as well. Now, here's the shift, okay? When there's no floor, everything feels like an emergency. You're checking prices in the markets, you're making decisions that you're going to regret in the future, and when you have the floor, a dip is just a dip. Life goes on. You can hold through volatility. You don't get so stressed out. I think it really provides a peace of mind. So how much should the floor be? Let's break this down. You know, if you have some stable income, maybe it's 6 months. I would say minimum 6 months. For some people, I would say it's 9 months. And if you're self-employed, right, you're a freelancer, you're a business owner, I would say a year. Why? Because in business, anything can happen. Businesses are closing down every day. Maybe you're not selling as many houses. Build that 12 months. So instead of trying to look rich, build a floor, okay? See, the right number is the one that lets you go to sleep at night a little bit better, no matter what the market is doing. Can I get an amen in the chat box? Now, how do you calculate your floor? You might have seen this in a previous video. Take a screenshot of this and fill it out. This is your worksheet. You can screenshot this right here, print it out. Maybe I'll even make another video and give this to you for free in the future if you comment down below and hit the like button. But the number is now your priority to get above the floor, okay? Now, before we talk 6 months, 12 months, I love giving some practical next steps for the new investor, you know, the person that's just getting started. And I think a great goal is just saving that first $1,000. I remember seeing $1,000 in my bank account when I was 18 years old, saying that I earned, not Christmas money, that I earned, and saying, wow, this is insane, right? Because when you're 18, $1,000 is like, wow, I got some money here, right? We're going out tonight. No, we're not. No, we're not. Can't even get in. Can't even book a hotel. Definitely can't rent a car at 18. $1,000 is the first great step. Then building that 1 month. Hey, let's just get 1 month of savings, 1 month in our financial floor account. Then 3 months, then 6 months, then 12 months. Every milestone deserves a moment. And when you hit a milestone here, I want you to celebrate it, not go out and spend $1,000 or spend a month, but to celebrate it. Maybe you buy yourself something nice. Maybe you start to plan maybe a small trip. But you got to reward yourself in this process, because don't take life too serious. Nobody gets out alive, Jim Rohn said. But in this process, there's mistakes that people make, okay? Watch out for this, okay? Keeping it invested, using it for vacations, mixing it with their checking account. So having one bank account for everything is a trap. Never replacing it. It's a big one. That financial floor is at, let's say, $10,000, and then you start to, let's go on this cruise, let's go on this vacation, and you don't put the money back in within 30 days, not good. Using credit cards instead of a floor, trading a 0% emergency for a 24% interest debt. The story of Americans. See, every one of these mistakes is avoidable with one simple rule. The floor has one job. And it's not your job, okay, to give it more. So where should you keep your financial floor? If you're just going to let it sit in cash, find a simple high-yield savings account, 3-4%, and just let it chill there, okay? You're not putting it in the market. Just let it sit at 3, 4, 5% based on interest rates, and let it just sit there. Find a bank that will give that to you, and just forget about it. But it should not be in your checking account. It should not be mixed with your regular savings account. It should not be in a money market or a mutual fund. It needs to be liquid. It needs to be safe, and it needs to be separate. Now, when we get above the floor, okay, this is what we're investing. Maybe we're doing index funds, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Maybe I believe everybody here should have a Roth IRA, and I'm not your financial advisor. Don't forget that. But once the floor is complete, this is where the game begins. I like Bitcoin. I like crypto. I like stocks. And don't forget, your own education is always a part of this list too. So you investing in you, it's going to outperform all of this. Why? Because when you get better, your kids get better down the road. Your grandkids get better because of the decisions that you're making right now. Now, not before the floor is full, not almost full, fully funded. The floor is set. The cap is hit. We've maxed out the floor that we need, that you need for your life. Now this game really begins. So let's go through an example, building the floor. Okay, real numbers. Let's say you're making $5,000 a month and your bills cost about $3,500 a month. A 12-month target is $42,000. Now let's just keep it real. You're not going to hit that number anytime soon. So earning more income is definitely the answer, okay? But in the process of that extra $1,500 a month, right, you can put some money away. You can still invest, but you got to get the floor rolling, okay? See, faster isn't always realistic, but it's consistent that's going to win. So pick a number that you could actually sustain every month, putting it into this floor account. Now, here's the full picture. Income comes in. You have this budget. You put some of that budget in that financial floor. You're investing. It's compounding. It's helping that next step of potential financial freedom. See, there's 6 steps. There's no shortcuts. The floor is what makes every step. And it's kind of like a game, right? Can I build this floor? Now, when you start to raise your expenses and you start to change your lifestyle for the better, now that floor number is going to go up, ladies and gentlemen. But here's the rules. You don't touch it. You replace it immediately. You can automate this entire thing and you're not chasing returns or chasing market breakouts or the next big coin. It's a red flag if somebody says, hey, I got the next Bitcoin. Hey, you're blocked. And your goal is to protect it. So if it's sitting in cash, put it in an FDIC insured separate account. There's no credit card attached to it. You're not touching that. You break one of these rules and look, the whole system loses its purpose. You keep all 5 and you're unstoppable. And these are questions that you might ask. Take a picture of this. Take a picture of this for you, okay? So here's 30 days, action plan, super simple. Your next steps. Week 1, let's track every dollar. Every dollar that comes in, let's track it. Week 2, let's cut some expenses. Now, I don't believe that you should just keep cutting things out because then you're going to get cut. But cut out the subscriptions. Cut out the things that are not adding value to you. Number 3, week 3, here we go. Just open up a separate bank account. I would suggest probably a high yield savings for the floor account and then automate it. It's super simple. Money comes into your main bank account. It needs to move. It needs to move. It needs to get out of that account. 1 month from today, look, you'll have a system running in the background, and even on your worst day, you'll remember, I'm building the floor, I'm building the floor, I'm building the floor, so I can invest. Okay, here's a checklist, okay, that you can follow. Screenshot this. 5 checks or 10, every single one moves you closer to investing without fear. Now, I'm not saying not to invest at all without building the floor, because for some people, it might take them their whole life. But what I'm saying is you gotta start. Take the principles in this video, okay? Build the floor. Invest above it, okay? Invest above it and understand that it's simple. It's not gonna take forever, but it's going to take some time. But once you get that floor set, life is a game and it's a lot of fun. And I believe in every single person watching this video. Subscribe down below or subscribe above to the channel and make sure you pay attention every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Right now we are in season 1 of the Unfiltered Report, my YouTube show. that is going crazy right now. Come on, ask questions about this video, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day. Talk soon.